Hello and welcome to our channel. Here, we delve deep into the mysteries of our ancient world, uncovering stories that have shaped life as we know it. Today, we're diving into a topic that resonates with an ingrained fear shared by many: the vast, dark, and mysterious oceans. If the thought of an endless, empty expanse of water makes you uneasy, rest assured you're not alone. The fear of deep bodies of water, known as thalassophobia, may go much deeper than we realize. It might have roots dating back to ancient oceans that once ruled the planet. The seas we observe today are awe-inspiring, filled with life, and undeniably mysterious. But they are nothing compared to the prehistoric oceans that were home to some of the most fearsome creatures to ever exist. Long before humans set foot on dry land, the oceans were a battleground for survival, where only the strongest and often the most terrifying creatures managed to thrive. These waters were vast, but even more so, they were teeming with predators that could haunt even the bravest swimmer. Before we immerse ourselves in this terrifying journey, a quick reminder: if you're passionate about exploring the unknown, make sure to subscribe to our channel, give this video a like, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. With that, let's step back in time to an era where stepping into the ocean was a true leap of faith, a leap that could come with a hefty price, a safe beginning. Surprisingly, Earth's oceans weren't always the treacherous realms they would later become. During the Cambrian period, around 541 million years ago, the seas were ruled by life forms that were more curious than dangerous. It was a time of evolutionary experimentation, where soft-bodied creatures and small-shelled animals thrived in calm, relatively shallow waters. Life was still finding its footing, or fins, if you will, and predators hadn't yet become the dominant force. One of the most iconic creatures of this period was the trilobite, a small armored arthropod that scuttled across the ocean floor. Though their spiny exteriors might appear intimidating to us today, these creatures were more scavengers than hunters, feeding on detritus rather than preying on living organisms. Other sea creatures, such as primitive mollusks and sponges, were equally harmless, which made the Cambrian seas a far cry from the terrifying world that would soon emerge. However, this era of calm wouldn't last long. Evolution, as it so often does, began to push boundaries, and new predators emerged, slowly transforming the once safe seas into an arena for survival, where only the fittest and the fiercest would prevail. This marked the beginning of the end for the peaceful oceans, the calm before the storm. By the time we reach the Silurian and early Devonian periods, about 419 million years ago, the oceans began to show their darker potential. Fish, one of the most revolutionary groups of creatures, began to evolve in ways that would fundamentally alter the underwater world. The most significant change was the development of jaws, a game-changing adaptation that allowed fish to become effective predators for the first time. During this period, the seas were dominated by fish like the jawless ostracoderms and the armored placoderms. While some of these species were relatively passive, others laid the groundwork for what would later evolve into apex predators. For the first time, life in the oceans had to contend with creatures that weren't just scavengers or filter feeders, but active hunters. Geographically, Earth at this time was a water-dominated planet, with oceans covering about 85% of the surface. Most of the action occurred near the coast, where biodiversity flourished in shallow seas. These regions became evolutionary hotbeds, and the stage was set for the arrival of some of the most terrifying creatures in Earth's history. The Age of Fish begins. The Devonian period, often called the Age of Fish, marked a dramatic turning point in Earth's history. During this time, fish began to diversify into a dizzying array of forms, many of which were highly specialized for predation. The oceans became an evolutionary arms race, with creatures evolving armor, speed, and deadly weapons to outcompete their rivals. One group of armored fish, the placoderms, emerged as the dominant predators of the era. These creatures were covered in bony plates, which served as both protection and intimidation. Some were smaller and hunted in packs, while others were solitary giants capable of taking down anything in their path. However, the true star of this period was undoubtedly Dunkleosteus, a placoderm whose sheer size, strength, and devastating jaws made it the uncontested apex predator of the Devonian seas. The Age of Fish wasn't just a biological milestone, it was an epoch when the oceans became a brutal battleground for survival. Meet Dunkleosteus, the original sea monster. Dunkleosteus wasn't just any fish, it was a biological marvel of destruction. Growing up to 33 feet, 10 meters long, and weighing over 2 tons, it dwarfed most of its contemporaries. Its body was encased in thick, bony armor that acted as near impenetrable protection, making it nearly invincible to would-be attackers. Unlike modern fish, which have teeth, Dunkleosteus had razor-sharp bone plates that functioned like shears, capable of slicing through its prey with terrifying precision. What truly set Dunkleosteus apart, however, was its bite force. It could generate an astonishing 880,000 pounds per square inch of pressure, stronger than even the bite of a great white shark or a T-Rex. This immense force allowed it to crush bones, shells, and anything else unlucky enough to get in its way. Scientists believe it could open and close its jaws in a fraction of a second, creating a vacuum that sucked its prey straight into its deadly mouth. Despite its size and power, Dunkleosteus was remarkably agile. Its streamlined body allowed it to glide through the water with surprising speed, making it an efficient hunter. Whether ambushing smaller fish or going after other armored placoderms, Dunkleosteus was a relentless force in its underwater kingdom, a true embodiment of fear in the Devonian seas. A predator you couldn't escape. Escaping Dunkleosteus was nearly impossible. Thanks to its unmatched hunting techniques, its jaws could snap shut in less than a second, leaving prey no time to react. The speed of this motion not only made its bite devastating, but it also created a powerful suction force, drawing smaller fish straight into its gaping maw. In the Devonian oceans, there was no safe zone. Any creature within reach of Dunkleosteus was a potential meal, but Dunkleosteus didn't rely only on sheer force. Its armored body served both offense and defense, allowing it to dominate the seas with minimal competition. Even if a rival predator attempted to challenge it, Dunkleosteus's bony plates acted as a shield, making it nearly invulnerable to counterattacks. This combination of size, speed, and durability made it a nightmare for any creature brave or foolish enough to cross its path. Though it mainly hunted smaller fish, there's evidence suggesting that Dunkleosteus was also cannibalistic, preying on its own kind during times of food scarcity. This behavior further cemented its reputation as a virtually unstoppable predator. In the prehistoric oceans, Dunkleosteus was a creature of awe and terror, a true apex predator in every sense of the word. The rise of other giants. While Dunkleosteus was the star of the Devonian seas, it wasn't alone. Its relatives, like Eastmonasteus and Titanichthys, also prowled the ancient waters, each equipped with unique adaptations that made them formidable in their own right. Eastmonasteus, for example, was slightly smaller than Dunkleosteus, but just as dangerous, with sharp jaw plates and a predatory lifestyle. Titanichthys, on the other hand, was a gentle giant in comparison. Growing up to 25 feet, 7.5 meters long, it was likely a filter feeder, using its massive mouth to strain plankton from the water. While not a direct threat to other creatures, its sheer size was enough to intimidate. Titanichthys represents the diversity of placoderms, which ranged from deadly hunters to peaceful giants. Beyond the placoderms, other terrifying creatures began to emerge. Early sharks, such as Cladocelich, introduced speed and agility to the predator's toolkit, while bizarre lobe-fin fish displayed primitive features that hinted at future evolutionary leaps. The Devonian seas were a hotbed of evolutionary innovation, producing a wide variety of creatures, each adding to the increasingly perilous underwater ecosystem. The sharks enter the scene. While the placoderms ruled the seas during the Devonian, the rise of early sharks in the Silurian and Devonian periods brought a new level of fear to the oceans. The first sharks were smaller, more streamlined creatures, but they represented the future of oceanic predation. Unlike the armored placoderms, early sharks had flexible cartilage-based skeletons, which made them lighter, faster, and more agile in the water. Their sharp, serrated teeth were designed for cutting and tearing, making them formidable predators capable of taking down large prey. One of the most significant shark species of the Devonian was Cladocelich. Growing up to 6 feet, 1.8 meters long, this early shark had a torpedo-shaped body and a mouth full of sharp, pointed teeth that were perfect for grabbing fish and squid. Its speed and hunting efficiency were unmatched, making it one of the first true apex predators in the ocean. Though it lacked the massive size of creatures like Dunkleosteus, its agility and predatory skills marked the beginning of the shark's dominance in the oceans. The presence of early sharks began to change the dynamic of the ocean ecosystem. Sharks were not just scavengers, they were active, efficient hunters. With their keen senses, such as the ability to detect electrical signals from prey, sharks were able to hunt in complete darkness, adding a layer of fear to the oceans that hadn't existed before. By the end of the Devonian, sharks had firmly established themselves as the top predators of the sea. The end of the Devonian and the rise of the Mesozoic era. As the Devonian period came to an end, it marked a dramatic shift in the Earth's oceans. The mass extinction event at the end of the Devonian wiped out many of the placoderm species, including the mighty Dunkleosteus. This extinction event opened the door for new species to rise, including the sharks that would eventually dominate the oceans during the Mesozoic era. The Mesozoic era, often referred to as the Age of Reptiles, saw the rise of even larger and more terrifying creatures in the oceans. The most iconic of these was the ichthyosaur, a marine reptile that resembled a dolphin but was far more dangerous. These creatures could grow up to 60 feet, 18 meters long, and were powerful predators in their own right. Their large, tooth-filled mouths were perfect for hunting fish and smaller marine reptiles, and their streamlined bodies made them incredibly fast and efficient hunters. Another giant predator of the Mesozoic seas was the mosasaur. Related to modern monitor lizards, these aquatic reptiles could grow up to 50 feet, 15 meters long, and were equipped with powerful jaws and sharp teeth. They were capable of taking on nearly any prey, including large marine reptiles, and their large size made them nearly invincible in the oceanic food chain. The mosasaur's reign over the seas was terrifying, as it hunted with a level of aggression that was unmatched by any creature of its time. The deepening fear. Thalassophobia on steroids. The ancient seas were a true nightmare fuel for any creature that dared to enter them. With monsters like Dunkleosteus, early sharks, and the terrifying marine reptiles of the Mesozoic, it's no wonder that our fear of the ocean runs so deep. Thalassophobia, the fear of vast, deep bodies of water, seems to be an inherent reaction to the unknown terror that lurked in the depths of the oceans throughout prehistory. The sheer size of these ancient predators and the environments in which they lived would have made even the bravest of creatures think twice before entering the water. While we may no longer face these prehistoric monsters today, the fear of the unknown still lingers in many of us. The ocean, with its mysterious depths and dark waters, remains an untamed force of nature, one that even today can evoke fear, awe, and wonder in equal measure. Whether it's the fear of being eaten by a giant shark or simply the fear of what might lie beneath the surface, our prehistoric ancestors' encounters with oceanic predators have left a lasting imprint on our psyche. The ocean's ongoing mystery. Although the creatures of the ancient seas are long extinct, the ocean remains a place of mystery and fear. With more than 80% of the ocean still unexplored, who knows what terrifying creatures still lurk in its darkest depths? New species are still being discovered, and the technology to explore the abyssal zones of the ocean has advanced significantly. Yet we still know so little about what lies beneath the surface. In many ways, the ocean is a reminder of our place in the natural world. It is vast, mysterious, and home to creatures that defy our understanding of biology. While we may no longer face predators like Dunkleosteus or ancient sharks, the fear of the deep remains a natural part of the human experience. Whether it's through the thrill of scuba diving, the anxiety of a boat ride on the open sea, or simply the way we react to images of vast open water, the ocean continues to hold a special place in our hearts and minds as a source of awe and fear. Closing thoughts. As we reflect on the terrifying creatures of prehistoric seas, it's impossible not to appreciate how far we've come. But at the same time, it's equally impossible to forget that the ocean still holds an untold number of secrets. Our fear of the unknown is deeply embedded in our collective consciousness, and perhaps it always will be, because even today, there's still so much we don't know about the deep. So, the next time you look out at the ocean, remember that it was once home to giants and monsters that ruled the seas, creating an environment where survival was a brutal game of life and death. And while those monsters may no longer be around, the ocean's power and mystery remain as captivating as ever. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the prehistoric world of terrifying oceans. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think about these ancient sea monsters and the mysteries that still lie beneath the waves. Until next time, stay curious and remember to respect the ocean.